Hey everybody, Randy Reviews It here. So this week we're going to be talking about my first pistol class, which I took at the renowned Valor Ridge right here in Tennessee. Stick around, let's talk about it. Hey everyone, so we're talking about my trip to Valor Ridge, which I took at the beginning of June. So I heard about Valor Ridge way back in the day. I watched a lot of Reed Henrik's videos, that sort of thing. I was always interested in going there. My friend Jared from Guns and Gadgets and my buddy Johnny B have taken a lot of classes. I've never taken one before in my life. So they spoke very, very highly of Reed and Valor Ridge and everything like that. So with it being right here in Tennessee, it seemed like the perfect opportunity for me to take my own class, my first class, and to take a good class. So I signed up for Pistolcraft 1, which was $645 for a 2-day course. It seems to be a pretty reasonable rate across the board for a decent facility. I know some charge more. I've seen a lot more. I think $645 is pretty reasonable, and we'll get into that later. But then you're looking at hotel too, so you're probably looking at $120 to $150 a night, depending on where you stay and things like that. So overall, you're just under $1,000 all in if you take this class, ammo, that sort of thing. So let's get into what's required. So one, you want a good working gun. I've been blessed where I have multiples of pretty much the same gun, so I brought 3 PX4 Storms, including my Langdon. And you want to make sure it's a good, reliable gun. I brought like 500 rounds of ammo. I only shot about 170, I want to say. So I shot about 170 rounds of ammo in the 2-day class, and we'll get into why there was a lower round count as well. But let's talk about the class demographics. So there was approximately 9 people in my class. Me and one other person were the only ones that had shooting experience in the past. And sorry, neighbors are closing a garage door. It was only about me and one other person that had any shooting experience, really. Most people, this was their first time shooting a pistol. This was their first time using said pistol, things like that. So very, very beginner course. And what we covered in the first day was the basics of pistol handling. So working on your grip, working on your trigger press, working on your sight picture, your stance, that sort of thing. Which, if you've seen in some of my videos, I used to have a tendency of grabbing the trigger guard with this support hand index finger, which is not usually recommended. For me, sometimes I felt comfortable and I controlled recoil. Right away is when I got out there, Reed is like, nah, we're not doing that. You get a correct grip on things. So I sat there and I got my correct grip and we locked out and I pulled my first shot. So the guy next to me thought I was sandbagging the class because I clearly had, experience shooting. But so we did a lot of dry fire practice and drills while we were out on the range itself. So that's where the round count doesn't seem like a big deal to me that it was that low of a round count, because we would do 5 dry fire drills and then 1 live round. 5 more dry, 1 live round, that sort of thing. So it was finding your natural point of aim, getting that, I shouldn't say completely locked out, but getting them locked out and extended so that you're at a referenceable point so that you can recreate it over and over. So you're not doing Weaver, you're not doing any of this. They taught a very good way to handle the pistol. It improved my shooting significantly. Just doing the drills improved my shooting significantly. So day one was all about pistol handling, finding that grip, finding that groove, getting that sight picture, and letting it rip. One important thing to note too is I was the only one there with a red dot sight. Everyone was using stock weapons for the most part. So let's break that down. There were 3 SIGs, 3 Glocks, an Echelon, a VP9, a CZ P10, and then my Langdon. So, pretty representative of what I think most people buy. You know, definitely that Glock and SIG group. The SIGs that were there were 365s. That Glock, it was 1917. The Echelon was just the Echelon, the CZP-10, VP9, and my Langdon. So I was the only one with a red dot sight. And one of the things that blew me away and why I know this class works for people, I know this is a great training facility, is because I saw these people after 2 days with almost no pistol handling ever shoot better than I see guys that are at the range every week. Let that sink in. Someone who's only shot 170 rounds in their entire life through a pistol, I've seen perform better, more consistent than people that I see shoot 200 rounds every other week. So that's where, for me, what really sank in is I've spent all this money, I spent all this time, I've shot all these rounds, things like that, when in hindsight, I should have gone and taken this class right away when I became, you know, a carrier, a pistol user, that sort of thing. Because it would have fast-tracked my progress, and I would have saved a lot of money by, you know, making every round count that I send down range and that sort of stuff. But, you know, for this channel, I definitely send rounds down range that are fun. But in this class perspective, everything has a purpose. You're getting feedback from the dry. You know, does this feel comfortable? Getting that muscle memory. And then when you do it live, it does what it should. So, the end of day one, we worked a little bit on pistol drawing. And this is one of the things that Reed teaches, Reed and Rachel, they're a duo. Let's get that out there too. So Reed and his wife Rachel, they taught something that I was a little taken back at first, but I found out very quickly there was a reason for it. So, you know, when I practice dry fire or something like that at home, sometimes I got the paddle holster outside the waistband, something like that, or I'm doing things, you know, a certain way. They said, you know, because I carry on my hip, that I should clear the garment with both hands. So make sure that I clear the garment with both hands, which sounds counterproductive, like you'd want to just pull up, grab, go, right? So they said the reason for that is because you want to make sure you clear the garment, you don't get hung up on things, because a mistake like that made when you're trying to protect yourself could cost you your life. And that's what Reed's way of teaching. It's not so much competition based. Don't get me wrong, I think there is a ton of merit in competition shooting. For the draw though, his is defensive learning on the draw. So we want to make sure that we get, even if it's a little slower, a little more work, that you get that garment cleared so that you can draw the weapon effectively. And there was twice where I was like, you know, just trying to go fast, trying to get, you know, everything fired in under 2 seconds. And I pulled with just one, and sure enough, my shirt got caught on the butt of my pistol. And it locked up, and my time was terrible. I didn't get the shot off in time, that sort of thing. So he teaches you, Rachel and Reed teach you in a way that it minimizes mistakes, but it may be, you know, slower than like a competition draw or something wild like that. You know, these guys on Instagram that are doing, you know, 1 second draws and shot, like, okay, you might get that, but what happens if that gets caught when you don't want it to? So getting things right every time, like the important parts of it, for sacrificing a little bit of speed. I lead with Reed and Rachel on that, and I think what they taught was, one, I learned right away is that it works, and then two, why it's important. So that was day one. We got to train in the rain. You know, it was great. I was loving that aspect of things because it wasn't too hot, but it started raining and it cooled us off quite a bit. Day two. So day two, we talked, we had some classroom training. Like day one, we had classroom, you know, about the basics of gun handling. Day two, the classroom training was focused around when you're legally allowed to protect yourself with a firearm or any other weapon type thing. And one of the things that's great about Reed's class, and I don't want to give out trade secrets or anything like that, but his class applies to all 50 states in the United States. I know some with the concealed carry or anything like that, if you had another weapon, you'd probably be safe. But let's say any place that you could conceal carry, his methodology and, you know, 3 items to, you know, make sure that you define right of ways and, you know, validate. Those 3 items will keep you on the right side of the law in any potential conflict. So, you know, going through that class was really good for me. I've taken a concealed carry class at my local gun club. It didn't really go into that. We spent like an hour talking about revolver parts, to be honest. But so this was really refreshing because, one, it wasn't just state-based. You know, there was people from all over the country in this class, and Reed taught a curriculum that applied to everyone. So that was really good. The second part of the day, we did drills again, drawing and shooting. And the whole time, Reed and Rachel are demoing this stuff. They're showing how it works. They're getting involved. They're shooting. All of those sort of things as well. So that was, you know, one thing that you look for in a class is, one, can my instructor do what they are trying to teach me to do? Are they effective at it? That sort of thing. And they're very effective at it. They're wildly effective at it. So day two, we're practicing more drills going all the way through. And Reed, we do a fun thing. In my head, I'm thinking it takes me like 4 seconds because I'm fat, I'm slow, I'm an idiot sometimes. Sometimes I can bumble things. I'm thinking for me to clear my garment, get my gun out, line things up, all this, that it's going to take a while. And he's like, he goes, I want you to draw and shoot in under 2 seconds. This timer is going to beep again in 2 seconds. And I was like, I'm never going to make this. And I dropped the shot off right as the 2 second timer hit. So I was really impressed. So like within a day, I was drawing and, you know, shooting within 2 seconds an effective shot. So all of my shots besides that first one were effective. They were right where they needed to be. So I did pretty well there, but I had experience, you know, that sort of thing. Most of the other people did pretty well there. So we ran some more drills through the whole thing at once. The next thing was target discrimination, and this was a really, really fun thing to do. Some people did very, very well. Others did not. I did pretty well, but all of mine were no-shoots. So what Reed and Rachel do is they set up a target around a wall, and you need to pop out and determine if it's a threat or not. And if it's a threat, you need to neutralize the threat. If it's not a threat, they don't want you pointing a gun at it. So you got to think quick and try to get that going faster and faster. So all of mine were no-shoots. You know, there was a gun on one, but they had a badge. So I was like, hey, why is a cop in my house at night? You know, maybe I should let the round rip, but I didn't, which I wasn't supposed to. But yeah, this this class, I can't say enough about it. Me and my girlfriend have talked. June bugs flying in here. So me and my girlfriend have talked, and we're looking at sending her to Valor Ridge eventually, so that she gets more comfortable with, one, carrying a gun, drawing a gun, and comfortable shooting it with a proper technique, because I think this class was invaluable. It was a great class. I would recommend Valor Ridge to anyone looking to train. I think they do an amazing job. I learned a lot. I've gotten significantly better because of it. I've been in Wisconsin for the last kind of 2 weeks, so I haven't had as much dry fire practice as I wanted to, so I need to maintain that. You got to keep doing it on a regular basis, because the second you leave a class, those skills and those drills are slowly deteriorating. So you need to make sure that you're doing dry fire and stuff like that to keep them polished up. But overall, Valor Ridge, huge shout out, huge thank you to Reed and Rachel. I was nervous about taking my first pistol class because, one, I'm very overweight, and if it's like, running drills like a Ben Stoger or a Matt Pranka, I'm not going to do very well. I know I need to work on that, my health and all that sort of thing, which I am actively doing now. But it's a very beginner-friendly course. There's no intimidation there. They're not going to push you to an uncomfortable level. And they keep the class sizes, 9 people with 2 instructors. It's a very small, very personal class. They're talking to you every drill. They're working with you on every drill. They're inspecting you with every drill. And it's very, I guess the word is intimate, but it's a very intimate class that I think everyone should do. And then once you get from there's other ones. There's additional Pistolcraft too. He's got like an austere conditions, like what if you're ground fighting? How do you draw your gun and use it effectively? That sort of thing. But Reed and Rachel are teaching a class to get you to be able to defend yourself in situations. And you can take that and apply it to competitions, but make sure that you're doing things the way that they taught, so that if you do have to defend yourself, instead of a 1-second penalty, you're pulling the garment up with both hands, getting that good draw and letting the shot rip instead of, a fault or a DQ or anything like that. You don't get DQs in the streets. But I do see value in competition shooting. Don't get me wrong on that. I think everyone could do it. I think if you take your concealed carry and apply that and polish it up in competition, you'll be best overall. So, I'm not saying, I don't think open class competition shooting is for everyone, but if you can find a competition that allows you to draw, do concealed carry, that sort of thing, or just push yourself that way, that you'll genuinely get better. And yeah, I've been rambling for a while now, but pistol class was great. I got a lot better. You guys are going to see better shooting out of me. I'm going to show my targets to validate as much as I can. I got an additional camera now, so I'm trying to do that. But Valor Ridge is great. If you guys are looking to take a course, take it there. Start there. Thanks for watching. Take care. Reed, Rachel, thank you very much. Jared and Johnny B, thank you for an amazing recommendation. I feel so much better with my concealed carrying, and I'm much more comfortable with things because of this class. Take care.